In 1871, a European explorer found a stone city and simply refused to believe it. No mortar, no cranes, no European tools, just 18,000 people and pure genius. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how they did it. You'll also learn how colonizers tried to erase this truth for over 100 years. This is Great Zimbabwe, and its story was almost stolen from history. Let's start with the myth colonizers desperately needed to be true. In the 1800s, Europeans landed in southern Africa and found something impossible. Massive granite walls, curved and stacked, without a single drop of mortar. Their first reaction wasn't wonder, it was denial. They couldn't accept that Africans built something this advanced. So they invented other explanations, fast and completely false. Some claimed Phoenicians built it, sailing in from the Mediterranean. Others blamed the Egyptians or ancient Babylonians passing through. One theory even credited King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Another wild claim? Aliens, because apparently that was easier to believe. The real builders were the ancestors of the Shona people. Construction began around the 11th century, using nothing but stacked granite. Builders quarried stone from natural rock outcrops nearby the site. They heated the granite, then cracked it into brick-shaped blocks. Each block was carefully shaped to interlock without any mortar. The walls have stood for over 700 years without collapsing. At its peak, Great Zimbabwe covered roughly 80 hectares of land. That's comparable in scale to medieval London at the same time. It's the largest of over 150 stone ruin sites in the region. Population estimates range from 10,000 to as many as 18,000 people. That made it one of the largest cities in Africa at the time. This wasn't a village. It was the capital of an empire. The Kingdom of Zimbabwe controlled trade across the East African coast. Its economy ran on cattle herding, crop farming, and gold mining. Gold from inland mines fueled trade with the Indian Ocean world. Artifacts found here trace trade routes stretching as far as Persia. Some evidence even links their trade networks all the way to China. Imagine glass beads from Asia sitting inside an African royal court. The city had specialized craftsmen, goldsmiths, potters, weavers, and blacksmiths. One section alone shows evidence of advanced decorative stonework techniques. Chevron and checkered wall patterns show serious architectural ambition. The Great Enclosure is the largest ancient structure south of the Sahara. Inside it, archaeologists found something even more symbolic than the walls. 8 soapstone bird sculptures carved with remarkable precision and detail. These birds likely represented royal power or ancestral spiritual connection. Today, the Zimbabwe bird sits proudly on the national flag. But here's where the story turns dark and deeply political. In 1531, a Portuguese captain named Vicente Pigado documented the ruins. He called it Simbao, one of the first European records of it. For centuries after, the site was barely explored by outsiders. Real investigation didn't begin again until 1871. And that's when the denial campaign truly started to escalate. British archaeologist James Theodore Bent visited the site in 1891. He declared Africans incapable of building anything this sophisticated. Bent then discarded artifacts that didn't fit his preferred theory. Those artifacts could have helped prove African origin decades earlier. Instead, they were lost, destroying critical evidence forever. The colonial government of Rhodesia had a political reason for this. If Africans built Great Zimbabwe, colonial rule looked far less justified. So the government pressured archaeologists to support foreign origin theories. Science was bent to fit a political narrative, not the truth. Then, in 1905, one archaeologist refused to play along. David Randall Meekever examined the ruins with fresh, honest eyes. He concluded the site was, quote, unquestionably African in every detail. For saying this, he was banned by Rhodesia's colonial government. Telling the truth cost him access to the very site he studied. The suppression didn't end there. It continued for decades more. In the 1920s, archaeologist Gertrude Catton Thompson returned to investigate again. Her research confirmed what Randall Meekever had already proven years before. Great Zimbabwe was unmistakably built by African hands and minds. Still, colonial authorities resisted accepting this fact publicly for years. Museums, textbooks, and tour guides kept pushing the false narratives. Visitors were told anything except the simple, proven truth. Meanwhile, the real Great Zimbabwe was already in decline by then. Around 1450, the city was gradually abandoned by its people. The exact reason for the decline is still debated today. Oral tradition points to a mysterious and sudden salt shortage. Modern researchers suspect environmental strain and resource depletion instead. The population may have simply outgrown what the land could support. Either way, the city's power faded before Europeans ever arrived. Its walls, though, refused to fade with it. They stood silently for centuries, waiting to be understood correctly. Finally, science caught up with what should have been obvious. In 1986, UNESCO named it an official World Heritage Site. The world formally recognized what colonizers had denied for so long, but the story didn't stop at recognition. It became a symbol. In 1980, the nation gained independence from colonial rule entirely. Its leaders chose a new name, rooted in ancient pride. Zimbabwe comes from the Shona phrase for houses of stone. Naming the country after the ruins was a deliberate act of reclamation. It said clearly, this history belongs to us, not to them. Today, Great Zimbabwe stands as proof against the dangerous old myth. The myth that advanced civilization somehow bypassed the African continent. One glance at these walls destroys that myth completely. No blueprints, no mortar. No colonial permission needed. Just mastery. For over a century, someone tried to write Africans out of this story. And for over a century, the stones themselves refused to lie. Great Zimbabwe isn't just an ancient ruin. It's a rebuttal. A rebuttal built 400 years before anyone doubted it. So next time someone underestimates African history, remember these walls. They were built to last. And they outlasted every lie told about them. If this story moved you, there's more forgotten history worth uncovering. Subscribe, and let's keep bringing these erased stories back into the light.